Tony, tell us about this picture.
This is at Camp or Fob War Eagle, right outside of Solder City.
So Fob War Eagle, that's forward operating base?
Yes.
Okay, War Eagle outside of Solder City.
It's right between the chews. That was our living quarters, double stack chews that we lived in.
Okay. So Solder City, where is that in Iraq relative to Baghdad? Roughly.
It would be, I believe, north.
Okay.
It's right outside the Solder. I know it's right outside the Solder City area.
Okay.
Right on the Tigris. The
Okay.
Tigris is literally, you could almost throw a rock from where I was right there to the
River's
Tigris.
just right there
Mhm.
on the base. What was your job? in the-
13 Fox Forward Observer,
Okay.
calling in fire,
Okay.
artillery.
Okay, and in different videos we'll talk more about that. More about that work. Do you remember what year this is?
That would be 2009.
2009. And so that was your second deployment to Iraq?
Yes.
Okay. So you did 2 deployments altogether. How long were the deployments?
The first one was 15 months. We got extended on the, what was that called that Bush implemented?
Stop loss or?
Well, I got stop loss on this one. I was stop loss during this deployment,
Yeah.
but the first one was the surge.
Right. Okay, yeah.
When George Bush pushed the surge in, and we were over about 4 months, and push for that come in, and they told us then that we were going to be extended. So
Yeah.
basically we thought we had 4 months under our belt, and we just started our year. So
Yeah, wow.
with
So
the
you went
surge.
over assuming you're going to do a 1-year deployment.
Right,
And it turns
12
into
months
a
and
16-month deployment.
15. It was a 15-month.
Boy, that is a long time. Did
Yep.
you get to come home at all?
We did.
Yeah.
We got one R&R visit, which was a 2-week stint. With the travel time, it ended up being about 3 weeks.
Okay, so that's 2 weeks home. and
Right,
then
2 weeks home. You
travel.
got 2 weeks actually
Yeah.
from when you landed to when you took off, and
Yeah.
then the time getting there
Sure.
could take anywhere from a week to get home to a week to get back. And
Because you just done space available military flights?
no, they build the flight for you, but a lot of times the weather would push things back, or
Right,
there may
okay.
be seats that had to be taken for people that had to go home for other reasons.
For emergencies? or
Right,
something
and you
like
may actually get bumped. It was just according
that? Sure.
how
Yeah.
the coin fell.
I see that. We'll probably talk about this in other videos, but what was the surge? I mean, those of us who followed the war know what the surge was, but for someone who doesn't know what that was, what was that all about?
It was basically, I guess, a tactical operation that the Bush administration brought forth. They saw that we kind of had them on their heels, and their basic thought was, we've got them, like I said, on their heels, so we'll really push in and just give them, everything we got, and that's what they did. They brought over a lot of extra companies, brigades,
Yeah.
and just really saturated from door to door to the artillery fire we gave to the type of, I guess, operation that it was. It went
Yeah.
from being a 10-man team on all fronts to being a 20-man, so you could
Yeah.
spread out and do more.
So a lot
and
more
do
troops
it
get
quicker.
sent to the country.
Right,
And then those of you who are there, a lot of you get extended.
right, right.
And just the idea is just to,
Keep us there and get as many bodies on as many boots on the ground, and as many operations as you could possibly get. So.
The idea being to sort of overwhelm.
Right,
the
just saturate it
insurgents
and
Iraq,
try to push through as best you could.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in different discussions, we'll talk more about your work in Iraq. Tell us about your work here at JBU. When did you get to JBU?
July of 2017, and work on the grounds crew.
Uh-huh. And what kind of work were you doing before you came?
I was park ranger with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer,
Okay.
which is a civilian. It's the name's U.S. Army,
called
but it's a
Army,
civilian.
Yeah.
We were under the Department of Defense, but we were all civilians.
Okay.
And then I went from the Corps of Engineer being a park ranger and natural resource specialist, and then I jumped over to the U.S. Forest Service and was an integrated resource crew member,
Okay.
which basically with the integrated resource crew member, we did a little bit of everything from marking timber to helping the biologist, doing archaeological. We'd help with the archaeologist. We'd do just about recreation. Anything that come up, we would have a little bit of a piece of it.
And is that what you did out of the Army? After the Army, did you go right to the Park Service? Or?
I took about a year off and went to school.
Okay.
Finished up my school. I was about halfway done with my degree, and I figured with the GI Bill, why
Sure.
not?
Yeah.
I was at a place where I could do that,
Yeah.
and started looking for degrees, and that was one that really stuck out to me. When I was younger, I always kind of wanted to do that. So the school that I went to, Arkansas Tech, was known for that degree program. And I ended up getting hired as a summer ranger, and they asked me to come back the next summer, and they ended up putting me on as full-time.
Okay.
So I was actually employed before I graduated, but I was on kind of an internship.
Yeah.
So whenever I graduated, I went directly into full-time status.
Yeah. Okay. And then you came to JBU in the summer of 2017. So at the time we're making this, we're a little bit over a year.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And just tell us about the work you do here at JBU. Grounds crew. What does
Grounds
that
crew.
involve?
Mow grass. We mow lots of grass.
There's a lot of grass
Yeah,
to mow.
pull lots of weeds.
Yeah.
Do anything really that has to do with the grounds. We usually
Sure.
have at least a piece of it. If
Yeah.
it's real big stuff, a lot of times they'll contract that out. But
Yeah.
most of the stuff that I've seen us do, we do pretty much in-house.
Yeah.
From setting culverts to landscaping the buildings that are being erected around the new buildings, to again mowing grass.
Yeah.
We constructed the golf course, the disc golf course.
Oh right. Yeah. The new frisbee golf that we have. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we also do my area. We're kind of set up in each full-time groundsman has a section of campus, and I have the bike trails as well.
So you
we
guys
do
created the
maintenance
bike
on
trails that we have?
Well, I didn't help
Or-
create the bike trails.
Okay.
They were, whenever I got here, they were already
They're
here
already
and
done.
running.
But that is something the grounds
it's
crew
something
did,
that,
and-
right, we do. We maintain those, and we have lots of volunteer help that helps with that, thank
Okay.
goodness. But
Yeah.
we do some work on the
Yeah.
trails as well.
Is grounds crew at JBU a little less stressful than Forward Observer in Iraq? you
Yeah.
think? Slightly less stressful.
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
I'll bet it is.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good. Well, we'll end this discussion here, and we'll do some different ones.
All right.
All right. Thank